Welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm reading my memoir, Rebirth, chapter by chapter. If you just happened upon this video, this is not the first one in the series, so you can go back and see from the beginning or listen from the beginning. I'm today reading chapter 6. If you want to subscribe so you know when the next videos drop, go ahead and do that. And if you like what I'm reading, please like and share so that it reaches the people who are meant to hear my story. So today I'm reading chapter 6, Inducing Labor. At the appointment the next day, I reiterated that I was comfortable being pregnant and in no hurry to push the baby out unless it was truly time. I wanted Sarah's opinion and to know what precautions we should take, assuming my water had broken 2 days earlier. She remained non-committal. Statistics and studies are only recorded for this 72-hour period after the water breaks, because that's the maximum hospitals typically allow before inducing labor, she said. Infection remains a possibility beyond 72 hours, although limited research exists on this time frame. I believe the risk is minimal, but to further minimize any potential issues, ensure you stay hydrated and avoid baths or inserting anything into the birth canal. We then discussed natural methods for inducing labor, such as taking a long walk, nipple stimulation, drinking castor oil, or black cohosh tea. Sarah placed her hands on my belly to assess the baby's position. You should get an ultrasound, she advised. I want to avoid any last-minute surprises. If we know in advance, we can explore ways to help the baby turn, but it needs to be done before the baby starts to descend. We agreed to meet Amy again that evening at the hospital for another checkup on the baby, as we had done the night before. From that point on, we would monitor the baby's heartbeat and uterine activity every 24 hours. Matto and I then went to the ultrasound appointment. When our turn came, the technician quickly ushered us into the room. She confirmed the baby's head was down and then left without a word while I cleaned the gel from my belly. As we walked back to the car, Mauro and I discussed our options. We decided that if labor hadn't started by the 72-hour mark, we would try to induce it naturally. We called Evelyn to get the ingredients for the labor-inducing brew they had mentioned. She called back shortly with the ingredients list and 2 options, a tea and a castor oil mixture. Both might send you to the bathroom, she warned. I had some reservations about inducing labor in that way. We went for a long walk, the most common natural method for inducing labor. We dropped off a movie at the video store. This was still the era of physical rentals, and then went to the health food store with our list. While I was browsing the bulk tea section, a petite woman with radiant energy approached us and introduced herself as Michelle. With a warm, curious smile, she asked how far along I was. My water might have broken 2 days ago, I said. We're trying to figure out what to do next. She advised against using castor oil. My first birth ended with the baby being born in a pile of feces. Not my dream birth, she said. I nodded, grateful for her honesty, and apologized for what had happened. Try the tea instead. It's a much milder alternative, she suggested. Then, leaning forward with a mischievous grin, eyebrows raised and a finger to her lips, she whispered, "Can I talk to your belly?" It was an odd request, but curious, I nodded. Michelle knelt, gesturing theatrically, as if about to take the stage, until she was face to face with my belly. Leaning in, she turned her ear to my stomach and nodded in agreement with what she heard. Turning back to my belly, she spoke directly to Rocco, gently coaxing him into the world. She had an entire conversation with my stomach, sometimes speaking, sometimes listening. It was bizarre, beautiful, and strangely comforting. When she stood again, she rapidly shared everything she knew. A pressure point under the foot to ease labor pain, cream for sore nipples, and more. It was as if she had prepared for this encounter, ready to bestow her experienced guidance. Then, with one final gesture, she scribbled her phone number on a cash register receipt. "Call if you need anything," she said. What a gift. A beautiful, serendipitous encounter. My heart felt full. I dropped the number into my bag. We paid for everything on our list, including the castor oil, just in case. We could always return it. My steps felt light as we walked home, and I was bursting with energy. I still felt Michelle's warmth. She had left a mark. My mind raced with ideas and reflections, stirred by the invisible synergy and connection of all things, the underlying heartbeat keeping the world alive. I sighed, overwhelmed and exhilarated. My trust in natural birth had never felt stronger. At home, I boiled water to steep the tea. While it brewed, I searched online to see what to expect. The results were unsettling. There were stories of trauma linked to the tea. I called Evelyn. It's very unlikely, she said gently, but if you're not comfortable, you probably shouldn't drink it. She was right. I poured the tea down the kitchen sink. I still wasn't sold on the castor oil either. The idea of pooping during labor didn't appeal to me. Feeling a bit deflated, I sat at the kitchen table to gather my thoughts when I heard a knock at the door. I stayed seated, eyes closed, while Mauro went to answer it. The door creaked open, and then that smell. A wave of nausea surged through me. No, I yelled, eyes flying open. No potatoes in the house. I stood and turned towards the door. My mom, still on the porch, held greasy brown paper bags of French fries. I slowed my breathing to keep the smell from overwhelming me. She giggled. I didn't know, she said, shrugging and stepping inside. She ignored my protest and let the stench follow her inside. Luckily, we had an appointment with Amy, a good excuse to leave the forbidden food in the kitchen with my mom. At the hospital, I sat in the lounge chair while large white belts were strapped across my belly. The monitor were printing results on polygraph-like paper. Amy explained the squiggly lines to my mom, who hadn't been there the previous night. Everything looked good. When we asked Amy what she thought we should do next, she smiled calmly and said, "There's still time to wait it out." Then, with a playful glint in her eye, she added, "But if you're eager to get things moving, you could try nipple stimulation." It seemed a light and playful way to get things started. "If nothing happens by morning," she added, "Evelyn will call with the magic labor-inducing recipe." Around midnight, Mauro and I lay in bed and decided to give it a try. A contraction started instantly. Elated, we switched on the light and I reached for the birthing book, which confirmed nipple stimulation often works quickly, but warned that contractions may fade just as fast. It was disappointing news, but so far mine continued, so I remained hopeful. Before turning off the light again, I reminded Mauro, as I had many times before, that one of his key roles as my birthing partner was to keep me hydrated throughout the labor, for both my sake and the baby's. Then we agreed to try and get as much rest as we could. Despite the excitement, I managed to fall asleep. And that is chapter 6 of the book Rebirth. Again, make sure you subscribe so you know when I drop the next chapter. And if you like what I'm reading, or you know anyone who may like what I'm reading, please like and share so that this story reaches those who are meant to hear it. I'm so glad that you're here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.